5 mistakes that make men look older. Think aging gracefully means embracing wrinkles. Think again. You might be sabotaging your youthful looks without even realizing it. Are you accidentally adding years to your appearance? From jewelry overload to outdated denim, we're exposing 8 shocking style mistakes that instantly age older men. Don't let these blunders betray you. And stay tuned, because later in this video, we're revealing the ultimate style upgrades every grown man needs to outshine the rest. 7 tips to look sharper than ever. Number 1. Ignoring ear, nose and body hair. As men get older, they might see more hair in places they didn't before, like thicker eyebrows, longer nose hairs, and even hair sprouting from their ears. This is a normal part of aging, but if ignored, it can be unappealing and add years to your appearance. Fortunately, managing this extra hair is simple. For nose hair, numerous small grooming tools are available, or you can carefully trim with small scissors. Ear hair can also be managed with small groomers or an electric razor. However, I recommend avoiding safety razors in the ear due to the risk of cuts. I know this from personal experience. Finally, for eyebrows, simply ask your barber to trim them during your next haircut. They'll use clippers with a comb and give you a more youthful look. Speaking of keeping things in check, there's one area of maintenance many men overlook. And no, it's not about grooming tools. It's something even simpler, yet far more impactful. Ready to find out? Number 2. Not having a good skincare routine. We often hear that things improve with age, like wine, cheese, whiskey, well-worn jeans, quality leather, or a seasoned cast-iron skillet. However, most of these, excluding the wine, cheese, and whiskey, require consistent upkeep to age gracefully and last. This maintenance must be regular and routine. You can't abuse a nice leather briefcase for a decade, neglecting its care and protection, and then suddenly expect to restore it to its former glory. At some point, with certain items, the damage becomes irreversible. While replacing a worn briefcase, shoes, or jeans is easy enough, your face isn't replaceable. And because your face is the first thing people notice, neglecting skincare, like moisturizing and using SPF, will compound over time, making you appear older. Skincare doesn't need to be complicated, but consistency is key. I've found Teach Hanley to be an excellent system. Used for almost 2 years, their monthly subscription sends everything you need with clear instructions on how and when to use each product. It simplifies the entire process. Now that your skin is on point, let's talk about another subtle yet powerful statement you make every day, one that can either draw people in or push them away. Number 3. Wearing too much jewelry. An excessive amount of jangling jewelry is a major style misstep for older men. A handful of rings, multiple bracelets, a watch, and several necklaces is simply too much. Overdoing the jewelry suggests you're trying too hard to express your personality through your appearance. It doesn't convey spirituality. This is common among men in certain professions, such as entrepreneurs and coaches, who are often targeted with ads featuring stacks of handcrafted bracelets, proving irresistible to some. Gentlemen, please resist the temptation. Mistake 4. Excessive use of black. While black is often considered a slimming and versatile color, overdoing it can drain the vibrancy from your complexion and make you appear older. Rather than dressing entirely in black, try introducing lighter colors closer to your face. A crisp white button-down shirt, for instance, offers a refreshing contrast and breaks up the monotony of black. Reserve the all-black ensemble for your lower body, capitalizing on black's slimming properties. Darker jeans especially can create a more streamlined and youthful silhouette. Number 5. Immature jeans. With countless jean styles available and trends constantly shifting, it's easy for older men to fall behind. Arriving at a social event in skin-tight, excessively ripped jeans won't earn you any style points, and relying solely on social media ads for jean purchases can be disastrous. Unless you're a rock musician, jeans with numerous embellishments, rips, tears, extra pockets, rivets, are generally inappropriate for mature men. A co-worker's farewell party isn't a boy band reunion. Instead, shop for jeans thoughtfully. Avoid online purchases if possible, as it's difficult to judge how advertised jeans will fit. Invest time in understanding which jean styles flatter your body type. 12 best questions to ask on a first date. First dates can be nerve-wracking, but the right questions can turn awkward silences into deep connections. In this video, we're breaking down the asterisk 12 best questions to ask on a first date, the kind that goes beyond small talk and helps you truly connect. We'll show you how to ask the questions that get her talking, spark chemistry, and keep her wanting more. And here's the catch. Some of these might surprise you. One question, in particular, reveals if she's picturing you in her future. You won't want to miss that one, so stay tuned. Question number 1. What made you interested in going out with me? For men in their 40s and 50s, re-entering the dating scene with younger women can sometimes feel intimidating. This question serves as a way to break that tension and establish an initial spark in a light-hearted way. Unlike the dreaded "do you like me?", a question that feels too forward and almost puts the other person on the spot, this one leaves room for a more open-ended and engaging response. It invites her to reflect on what attracted her to you without the pressure of a yes or no answer. Whether you met on a dating app, at a coffee shop, or through mutual friends, this question can be adjusted to fit the context and help bring out a more genuine connection. For example, if you met on a dating app, you could modify the question to something like, "What caught your eye on my profile?" or "What made you swipe right?" This opens the door for a fun, flirtatious exchange about what initially stood out to her, allowing you to better understand what sparks her interest. Maybe it was your sense of humor, a shared interest, or even something unique you mentioned about yourself. Her answer can help steer the conversation into topics that deepen the connection further. However, there is a fine line to walk here. If framed too seriously, it might come across as seeking validation or could make her feel awkward if she doesn't have a clear answer. That's why keeping the tone playful and light is key. Delivered with a smile or a bit of a joke, this question has the potential to create an enjoyable, easygoing atmosphere right from the start of the date. This question works because it balances curiosity with a touch of flirtation. It allows her to express what drew her in, while giving you insight into how she perceives you. It's an easy way to spark chemistry, which can be crucial for establishing the right tone on a first date. Question number 2. What are you looking for? Asking "what are you looking for" is one of the most important questions you can bring up on a first date, especially if you're serious about finding a meaningful relationship. For men in their 40s and 50s, this question cuts through the small talk and gets to the heart of the matter. Are your dating goals aligned? Whether you're looking for a long-term relationship or something more casual, knowing the other person's intentions up front saves time and emotional investment. Many people make the mistake of ignoring or trying to change the other person's answer to this question, especially if it doesn't align with what they want. For instance, if she says she's looking for something casual or a short-term fling, and you're seeking a serious relationship, it's easy to think, maybe she'll change her mind. But this is where dating with intention becomes essential. You need to trust that when someone tells you what they want, they mean it. This can be particularly important for older men who don't want to waste time in mismatched relationships or casual situations that lead nowhere. For younger women, a man who asks this question is signaling a sense of purpose and clarity. It shows that you're not just interested in casual dating for the sake of it. You have clear goals, and you're not afraid to express them. This can be especially attractive because it sets you apart from younger men who might shy away from commitment or lack direction in their dating life. Women who are also looking for something serious will appreciate this directness, while those who aren't aligned will know immediately that it may not be a good match. This question is a clear signal that you're dating with intention, which can be a breath of fresh air for younger women who are tired of ambiguity and casual encounters. It sets the tone for a more serious connection and shows that you value open communication from the beginning. Ultimately, this question helps ensure you and your date are on the same page, allowing both of you to make an informed decision about whether to continue pursuing a relationship. Question number 3. What matters to you? For men in their 40s and 50s dating younger women, this question signals that you're interested in more than just surface-level details. Instead of focusing on specific hobbies, which can limit the conversation or lead to a one-sided discussion, this question allows her to share what drives and motivates her, revealing her core values. One of the pitfalls of asking something like "what are your hobbies?" is that it can unintentionally put the other person in an uncomfortable position. Not everyone has a long list of hobbies, and it can feel isolating if they don't have much to say on that front. Younger women may not always have defined hobbies, but are likely to have things they care deeply about, whether that's their career, family, social causes, or personal growth. Asking what matters to you gives her a chance to open up about these things and share what really lights her up inside. This question is also an excellent way to find what we call the golden nugget, that moment when someone's eyes light up and they become passionate about a subject. Whether she talks about her love for animals, her dedication to a non-profit cause, or her enthusiasm for a new project at work, you'll get insight into what's important to her. These golden nuggets are not only great conversation starters, but they also give you valuable clues about her personality and values. For example, if she shares that helping her community is what matters most, you can dive into a meaningful discussion about her involvement in volunteer work, which may lead to finding shared values between the two of you. If she's passionate about her career, asking follow-up questions about her ambitions and goals can show that you genuinely care about her aspirations. This creates an emotional connection that's far more impactful than simply listing hobbies or activities. It's important to remember that this question is broad, which means you'll want to listen closely to her answer and guide the conversation based on what she shares. While the question gives her room to talk about a wide range of topics, it's essential to remain engaged and show interest in whatever she brings up. This makes the conversation more dynamic and ensures that both of you are equally involved. Question number 4. What are you passionate about right now? Bringing up a recent political event might feel risky on a first date, but if you're serious about finding someone who aligns with your values, it's actually a smart move. Look, politics might have been off limits in the past, but times have changed, and asking what stood out to you about can reveal a lot about her without diving into a debate. Maybe she's passionate about social justice, environmental issues, or healthcare. Whatever it is, this question gives her a chance to share what she cares about. And for you, it's a great way to see if those values align with yours. The key is in how you ask it. Instead of making it feel like an interrogation, you're inviting her to share her thoughts in a more relaxed way. Keep it open, like, "Hey, did you catch recent event? What did you think about it?" This creates a space for her to talk about what matters to her without pressure. Plus, if she's someone who values deeper discussions, she'll appreciate that you're confident enough to go there. Now, this question does more than just spark conversation, it also saves time. Let's face it, if you're not compatible on some of these bigger issues, why waste your time? Whether you're looking for something serious or just a casual date, finding someone who shares your core beliefs is key to avoiding frustration later on. At the end of the day, a question like this helps you cut through the small talk and get to the heart of what matters. For younger women, it shows that you're thoughtful, informed, and ready to have meaningful conversations. And that's definitely attractive. Question number 5. What does your work-life balance look like? Asking questions about work-life balance, free time, and future plans on a first date can reveal a lot about someone's priorities and compatibility. For men in their 40s and 50s, especially those dating younger women, understanding how she balances her personal and professional life is key to determining whether your relationship goals align. But how you ask these questions is crucial to avoiding any awkwardness or misinterpretations. Instead of directly asking, "What does your work-life balance look like?" a better approach might be, "How do you spend your free time?" or "What do you enjoy doing after work?" These questions feel less intrusive but still provide valuable insight into how she manages her time outside of work. If she replies with something like, "Oh, I'm usually working late," or "I don't have much free time," it gives you a glimpse of her work-life balance without putting her on the spot. This more casual approach can keep the conversation flowing while still giving you the information you need to gauge compatibility. Actions often speak louder than words. Just because someone says they value work-life balance doesn't mean they practice it. Observing how she talks about her free time and what she does when she's off the clock will help you understand her actual priorities. If she's constantly busy with work and doesn't make time for herself or others, it could be a red flag for future relationship challenges. However, it's also important to consider where she is in life. Many ambitious young professionals are in the building phase of their careers, and working long hours might just be part of that. This doesn't necessarily mean they won't make time for a relationship, but it's something to be mindful of. It's easy to assume that because someone is always working, they won't prioritize their personal life. But there are plenty of successful people who know how to balance their work with their relationships, making time for what truly matters. For younger women, being asked about their work-life balance or future plans might indicate that you're someone who's thinking long-term, someone who values stability and structure. But it's important to tread lightly. If she's ambitious and career-driven, being too quick to judge her workload might give the impression that you don't understand or respect her goals. Many younger women are looking for a partner who appreciates their drive and independence, but they also want someone who can support them emotionally and be flexible with their busy lives. That's why observing her actions rather than relying solely on her words is so crucial. She may tell you she values free time, but if she's constantly working or rescheduling plans, you'll get a clear picture of where her priorities really lie. And the same goes for you. Make sure you're honest with yourself about what you're looking for. If you want a partner who has more time for a relationship and less time for work, be upfront about it. Question number 6. What does your life look like 5 years from now? When you ask this question, you're not just making small talk, you're diving into what really matters to her. Maybe she's driven by her career and wants to focus on that for the next few years, or maybe she's dreaming of starting a family sooner rather than later. Either way, her answer tells you a lot about her priorities. If her response is in sync with what you're looking for, that's a good indicator that you're compatible. But if her 5-year vision involves, say, focusing solely on her job and pushing family life further down the road, while you're hoping to settle down sooner, it's a sign you might not be on the same trajectory. The beauty of this question is that it helps you figure out where you fit into her present and future. For instance, if she's all about achieving career milestones over the next few years with little focus on relationships, that could signal a mismatch if you're looking for more personal stability. It's not about right or wrong, it's just about whether your goals are in sync. This question also digs deeper into values. Does she value career success, family, travel, or a mix of all three? If her future dreams line up with what you want, it opens the door to a meaningful connection. If not, you know early on that it might not be the best match. It's all about finding out where your paths meet, or don't. Now, you don't want to come off too intense by asking this question. Keep it casual. A simple, what do you see for yourself in 5 years? Or, what's something you'd like to achieve in the next few years? Can spark a conversation without making it feel like an interview. That way, she'll feel more comfortable sharing her future vision without feeling pressured. Question number 7. How well do you feel like you compromise with others? It might come across as a bit too serious, almost like you're conducting an interview. Let's be real, it's not the most casual question to bring up on a first date, but if you think about what it's trying to uncover, it actually holds some value. Compromise is one of the foundations of any healthy relationship. If the person you're dating isn't willing to meet you in the middle, it's going to be tough to build something long-lasting. So, asking this type of question, whether directly or indirectly, is about figuring out how flexible she is. It's not just about what she says, but how she thinks about making things work when there's a difference of opinion or a bump in the road. But of course, you don't need to phrase it like you're in a job interview. You can keep it light and conversational by asking something like, how do you usually deal with disagreements? Or, what's your approach when you and someone else aren't on the same page? These questions allow her to open up about her approach without feeling like she's being put on the spot. It gives you a sense of her mindset, but in a way that feels more natural and flows with the conversation. And here's something to keep in mind. Sometimes actions tell you way more than words. You don't always need to rely on how she answers. Pay attention to the little things during your date. Is she open to suggestions? Does she seem willing to consider your preferences when making decisions? How she handles small choices, like where to go for dinner or what to do next, can reveal how she might navigate bigger compromises later on. At the end of the day, compromise is a skill that both partners need to have. If you can get a feel for how she approaches it early on, you'll be better equipped to see if this is someone you can build a future with. The goal isn't to grill her for answers, but to find out if you're both on the same page when life throws inevitable challenges your way. Question number 8. What do you think is important for a healthy relationship? The question, what do you think is important for a healthy relationship, can feel somewhat uninspired. While it is valuable to understand someone's stated values, seeking those specific answers directly on a first date might not be the most effective approach. One hopes to conclude a first date with a sense of whether a second date is desirable. For instance, if healthy communication is personally important, the ideal scenario would be to discern if a potential partner prioritizes open dialogue after disagreements, rather than dismissing conflict. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that espoused beliefs and real-life behavior do not always align. Individuals might excel at articulating ideal relationship qualities, but struggle to embody those values. This discrepancy highlights the importance of observation. Rather than solely relying on verbal responses, it is often more insightful to observe how a potential partner conducts themselves and navigates various situations. For example, if you prioritize clear and proactive communication, yet the person you are going on a date with demonstrates poor communication during the date planning phase, e.g., delayed responses, short replies, it could signal that communication might not be their strength. This realization can occur naturally through observation, even without directly addressing the topic. Question number 9. How do you handle conflict? While it's an important topic, the setting of a first date may not lend itself well to diving into conflict resolution strategies. That said, the essence of the question, understanding how someone deals with disagreements and tough situations, is still crucial when you're getting to know someone, especially if you're looking for a long-term relationship. The main value of this question is figuring out whether the person has enough self-awareness to recognize when they've made a mistake or hurt someone, and whether they're willing to adjust their behavior to make things right. Relationships thrive when both people can acknowledge their flaws and work through conflict in a constructive way. So, knowing how she handles conflict could be a game changer in determining compatibility. However, phrasing it directly as "how do you handle conflict" can be a bit off-putting. You could frame the question in a softer, more casual way by asking something like, "How do you usually deal with tough situations?" or "What's your approach when things don't go as planned?" These questions give her the chance to reflect on how she navigates difficulties without feeling like she's being quizzed. Plus, they're broad enough that she can share her thoughts without getting too specific about past conflicts, which might be uncomfortable on a first date. One challenge with asking someone how they handle conflict is that their answer might not reflect reality. Many people who struggle with conflict management might not even realize it, and they could give an answer that sounds good but doesn't match how they actually behave. So while her response is helpful, it's not always the whole story. In fact, the real insights will likely come from watching how she interacts during the date. Does she seem calm when there's a hiccup in plans, or does she get frustrated over minor inconveniences? Is she flexible and understanding when things aren't perfect? These little clues can reveal a lot about how she'll handle bigger conflicts down the road. And if her answer is "I don't know," that can be a red flag. Not being able to articulate how you deal with conflict might indicate a lack of self-awareness or emotional maturity. It doesn't mean she's doomed to handle every disagreement poorly, but it's definitely something to keep in mind as you continue to get to know her. Question number 10. What is something in past relationships you needed to work on? It's one of those topics that, if handled wrong, can steer the conversation into uncomfortable territory. For many, bringing up past relationships too soon can feel like you're digging for baggage rather than getting to know each other in the present. However, if asked with care, the response can reveal a lot about someone's character and self-awareness. The value in this question lies in understanding whether the person reflects on their past and takes accountability for their role in a relationship. When someone can openly admit their flaws and recognize areas where they needed to grow, it shows maturity and emotional intelligence. If, on the other hand, they immediately start blaming their ex for everything that went wrong without any self-reflection, that's a major red flag. It suggests they may not have learned from their past experiences or are unwilling to acknowledge their own part in the relationship's downfall. However, this type of question is probably better suited for a second or third date rather than the first. Why? Because the first date should really be about getting to know each other in the present, sharing interests and figuring out if there's a spark between you. Diving into the past, especially past relationships, can take the focus away from what matters most during the early stages, building a connection between the two of you. Spending too much time talking about exes can unintentionally derail the vibe and make it feel like you're stuck in the past. That said, some people are more open than others when it comes to discussing their previous relationships, and if the conversation naturally steers in that direction, it can still provide useful insights. If you do decide to ask this question early on, listen carefully to how they respond. Do they approach it with neutrality and self-awareness, or do they seem stuck in a cycle of blame? Their answer will speak volumes about their character and whether they're ready for a healthy, balanced relationship going forward. On the flip side, if someone asks you this question, it's essential to stay neutral. Avoid bad-mouthing your ex, as that rarely reflects well on anyone. Instead, focus on what you learned from the experience and how you've grown. Not only does this show emotional maturity, but it also demonstrates that you're focused on self-improvement rather than dwelling on past negativity. Question number 11. Who is the person you talk to the most? For mature men navigating the dating world, first dates can feel like walking a tightrope. You want to be engaging, ask meaningful questions, but also keep things light. While it might seem superficial at first glance, the question, who is the person you talk to the most, offers a surprisingly insightful window into someone's character and priorities. Think about it. This question sidesteps the potential awkwardness of probing too deeply about past relationships or future aspirations on a first encounter. Instead, it creates a natural space for your date to share something positive about their life, their connection with another person. It allows them to speak with genuine warmth and perhaps even a touch of vulnerability as they describe someone who holds a special place in their heart. As you listen to their answer, pay attention to the details they choose to highlight. Is it a parent who instilled strong values, a best friend who always has their back, a sibling who shares their love for a particular hobby? The relationship they gravitate towards reveals their values and the qualities they hold dear in their closest connections. Moreover, this question subtly uncovers how they prioritize their relationships. Do they cherish quality time with family? Are they the type of person who regularly checks in with their loved ones, offering support and receiving it in return? Do they prioritize maintaining strong friendships, even amidst a busy life? Their answer unveils the role relationships play in their life and whether it aligns with your own values. This isn't about judging someone solely on who they speak to most frequently. It's about understanding the kind of person they are when they're with those who matter most. Do they light up with affection when discussing their loved ones? Do they express gratitude for those who enrich their life? This simple question can spark a cascade of insightful revelations about their character and the way they navigate relationships. For a man who values meaningful connections and seeks a partner who prioritizes those same bonds, asking who matters most on a first date is like finding a hidden treasure, a small question with the potential to reveal something truly valuable. Question number 12. What was your first impression of me? What makes this question appealing is that it gives her the opportunity to share her thoughts on how she felt when she first met you, which can lead to a more open and honest dialogue. If her response is positive, it sets a warm, engaging tone for the rest of the date. And even if she throws in a playful or teasing remark, it helps keep the energy fun and relaxed. Either way, it creates an opportunity for you both to laugh and connect over first impressions, which can build a stronger sense of chemistry. Another great aspect of this question is its versatility. It can be asked in a more flirty, teasing way or framed as a genuine curiosity. If you're going for a more playful tone, you could say something like, "So, what did you really think when you first saw me?" This adds a touch of fun and gives her the space to respond in a way that feels natural to the conversation. On the other hand, if you're interested in more serious feedback, you can ask it in a more straightforward way, such as, "What was your first impression when we met?" The beauty of this question lies in how it can deepen the conversation. If she compliments you or mentions something specific she noticed, you can build off that and share your first impression of her as well, which adds to the back and forth dialogue. It also shows that you're interested in her thoughts and how she's experiencing the date, which can be endearing and a sign that you're attentive. But be mindful, this question can also put her on the spot if she's unsure or hasn't formed a strong first impression yet. It's important to approach it with the understanding that not everyone may have an immediate or clear answer, and that's okay. If she seems hesitant, you can easily pivot the conversation back to a more neutral topic, or offer up a funny or flattering observation about her to keep things light. In the end, asking about her first impression of you is a question that can serve multiple purposes. It can spark flirty, playful conversation, help you both reflect on how the date is going, and encourage her to share her thoughts in a fun, low-pressure way. Plus, it's always nice to hear a compliment or a funny observation, and it gives you the chance to keep the mood positive and engaging. Alongside the questions, compliments are a very effective tool during a first meeting. Let's explore 10 compliments you should consider giving to younger women on a first date.